Hi, I'm Jeff Looney, the Daniel P. Jordan editor of the Papers of Thomas Jefferson at Monticello. We are preparing the definitive edition of Jefferson's Retirement Series papers. This includes incoming letters as well as letters sent and notes and reports other than letters. We are also including visitors' accounts. These are often among the most interesting and revealing things that we publish. Visitors describe things Jefferson either didn't think worth mentioning or which he may actually not have wanted to go down in history and complicate the image he sought to project as a dignified statesman and scientist. Possible case in point, on 23rd August 1822, almost exactly 200 years ago, a visitor has a very singular encounter with Jefferson. A teacher and future clergyman named Samuel Bumstead has passed through Charlottesville and toured the fledgling University of Virginia. He then stops at Monticello, hoping to meet Jefferson, but, disappointed to hear that he is not at home, he proceeds on his way. Shortly thereafter, about 3 miles away, he hears someone coming up from behind, riding, quote, an elegant bay horse going with speed. Bumstead has seen portraits and immediately recognizes the rider as Thomas Jefferson. He notes that, quote, his costume was very singular. Jefferson was wearing a checked gingham coat and pants, probably of domestic manufacture. The coat had silver dollar-sized metal buttons. Jefferson had a sandy complexion, very white hair, rode erect in the saddle, and looked younger than his age. Jefferson gave him a polite nod as he passed, but did not stop to talk. Bumstead was especially struck by two things. First, by Jefferson's commanding presence. He had, quote, the eye of an eagle, and Bumstead was too awestruck to do more than stare as he rode by, even though he had intended to ask the next person he encountered if he was in the right road for Richmond. He said, quote, I think I can never forget his looks. Second, Bumstead couldn't help but notice Jefferson's unusual headgear. It was very warm, and Jefferson looked, quote, pretty well heated. He wore no hat, and indeed, Bumstead had heard that Jefferson chose to go hatless in the summer. But, quote, a lady's parasol stuck in his coat behind spread its canopy over his head. We're all still trying to figure out how Jefferson rigged this contraption so that it stayed in place and didn't slow him up in what Bumstead described as, quote, so much speed. In fact, we almost wondered if the story could be true, although, after all, who would make up such a thing? But then we found independent confirmation. Only a few weeks earlier, on 3 June 1822, Jefferson had entered the shop of a Charlottesville merchant and paid $3 for a parasol. So we have to conclude that Jefferson, a born tinkerer, did indeed come up with a way to gallop around his plantation with the lady's parasol stuck in the back of his coat with his hands free and no hat. It must have been quite a sight, and certainly one that he did not bother to mention in his own writings. But thanks to a visitor who was in the right place at the right time, it is now part of Thomas Jefferson's documentary record.